Gina Carano. I love Gina Carano. Not just because of her appearance, mind you, there's a lot of reasons to love her for that as well, but because of her personality. For the first time ever, I'm going to say that yes, a woman that looks like Gina Carano, I love her because of her personality. Because she exposes the absolute hypocrisy of the progressive movement. You see, Disney, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, happens to be very progressive. I mean, they are championing women's rights. My mother is having her life improved because of Walt Disney. And they want to put women in position of power. They want to give women strength. They want women to speak for themselves. Until Gina Carano spoke for herself, and then she got fired. Because speaking for yourself in progressive slang means doing the corporate speech. If you don't speak what the corporation wants you to speak, then you're not a woman anymore. You know, like, that's actually funny because the communists used to do the same. They wanted to empower the working people. And they wanted to empower the people. But the moment you spoke out against communism and their ideas and policies, you are an enemy of the people. So one day you are part of the people, the next you're an enemy of the people. The Nazis did the same. They would call you race traitor, right? So one day you're part of the race, the next day you're part of the traitor. If you speak against their interests. And it's very similar now. So I guess according to Walt Disney, Gina Carano is not the right type of woman, huh? She has internalized misogyny. I knew there was a word for that as well. So, why did she speak out? Well, she spoke out not because she was politically active. If you actually listen to her interviews, it wasn't that she was a right-winger. There were just a couple of things that she didn't like seeing. So she wasn't politically engaged. She didn't follow politics. And she did what feminists encourage women to do, to speak for themselves. So she found out the hard way that you are not allowed to speak for yourself, especially if you're an actor. You're allowed to speak on behalf of the mouse. Haha. And that's it. If you don't have anything that the mouse wants you to say, then shut the fuck up. So she got problematic. I think first she got pressured into putting pronouns in the bio. And she found it ridiculous, so she put pronouns beep boop. And this made a lot of progressive lose their shit. I mean, mocking the holy pronoun. Oh, Dios mío, that is heresy, do you not know? So they wanted to cancel her for that. They didn't manage to do it. But then they canceled her for this post, where she says that because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jewish people, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. And this is actually in the Hitler's writings, like he admits to this. I mean, this is not even controversial. And it makes sense, like if the moment Hitler went to power, he would have started rounding up Jewish people. You may have had Germans defend Jewish people more than they did. I mean, it would be unfathomable, right? So in order to get to that point, you can't go from point A to Z. You have to go through point B, C, D. So gradually, over time, the Nazi ideology got people to hate the Jews. So that's why when the soldiers came, no one defended them. There's even like that interesting poem, like first they came for the socialists and I didn't do anything. Then they came for the Jews and I didn't do anything because I wasn't a Jew. You know, like, this is historical. Like, it's not even controversial. There's nothing. But, of course they didn't like it because it was true. And they got her fired at the platform. Despite the fact that the fans, like the overwhelming amount of customers that were watching The Mandalorian, didn't want her gone. So it doesn't matter what the people think, you know, democracy is good only when it's about voting and getting what the progressives want. But democracy, as in people want to see a product, you don't get to see it if the gatekeepers don't allow you to see it. Kind of similar to what's happening with Dave Chappelle, another example. You know, progressives are all about black people and empowering until a black person speaks for themselves, and then it's like, let's get him fired. So it's not about race or gender or anything. It's about ideology. But anyway, right, I digress. So, she gets fired over this. She doesn't even mention left wing or right wing. She just says it's not okay to hate people. That's what she is saying. Like, when someone in power, when the government or an ideology encourages you to hate people you don't even know, that's a problem. She is literally anti-hate. She is literally make love, not hate. But that doesn't matter, right? Because being a progressive, that's all the appeal, right? You're allowed to hate people that you've never met, you don't know, simply by stereotyping, by stigmatizing them. I mean, we saw recently with Miss Frost. I mean, she hates gamers because she stereotypes and stigmatizes them. That's what it means to be a progressive, is to hate people. You just need to hate the correct type of people. And then you can be a progressive. Horrible. But what can you do, right? So now Twitter is lying about why she got fired. And Twitter is saying, this is their editorial, they're explaining on why things are trending. Following Whoopi Goldberg's 2-week suspension from The View for comments regarding the Holocaust, people discuss actor Gina Carano's firing from Disney series The Mandalorian for commenting comparing COVID-19 restrictions to the Nazis. During the time that she made this comment, the restrictions weren't even that bad, if I remember correctly. This was actually during the BLM protests. Like, when was this comment of hers? I can't see the date, but I remember that the COVID restrictions weren't even like a major talking point at the time. So they're outright lying. And there's two reasons for this. Do they do it out of malice? Or do they do it because they don't know? I'm willing to accept both at this point. Because being a progressive means you have to shut down voices that disagree with you. So you're in a bubble. You have no idea what's happening in the real world. So it's quite possible that the person, the intern at the Twitter who wrote that, that's what they legitimately know. Like they might actually have been told that this is why Gina Carano got banned. Or number two is pure malice. Pure malice because they know they fucked up. They know that she shouldn't have been banned for being anti-hate. And because of that, they don't want the history to remain like that because they look like the bad guys, so they have to do a little bit of tinkering. They have to modify it a little bit to make it more appealing to the sensible audience. It's like, oh, well, I mean, if she was Joe Roganing, of course she had to be deplatformed. I mean, it's Twitter, it's not Spotify. On Twitter, we ban people. So, that is what it is. I hope she sues. I mean, she can literally sue over this. This is ruining her reputation. She never said, as far as I know, she never had any opinion regarding the COVID restrictions, ever. I mean, maybe she did, but she's so censored, I can't tell. So if I haven't seen it, then she didn't have it. The black swan, it's kind of like Americans do with empty supermarkets. Like, I've never seen a supermarket with empty shelves. Therefore, there aren't any. I have never seen Gina Carano say anything about the restrictions. Therefore, she never said anything. I mean, hey, I'm going to assume innocence. That's how I roll. If they're censoring and preventing people from expressing themselves on my computer, then it means they're innocent. They never said anything bad. So, fact check debunked. But in all due honesty, she should sue. And she can actually sue over this because while the Twitter is protected from things that you say, so if you were to type something outrageous on the Twitter, I can't sue the Twitter for what they published, like for what you said on their platform. But this is editorial coming from the Twitter team itself, right? So she can actually sue. And I hope she does. She probably won't, which is sad. It's sad. But I hope she does because, like, these people, they need to understand. It's like free speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences. And slander and libel isn't free speech, is it? So there needs to be some punishment. Some punishment. Come on. Why are you pushing misinformation? If I push misinformation, I get the platform. Why can't Twitter push misinformation? This is dangerous. Dangerous misinformation. I mean, she could be losing a new job, like maybe she can get fired because her employer says, oh my God, she was pushing misinformation. Blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, hopefully there's going to be a lawsuit. That would be interesting. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.